Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the June 6, 2022 meeting of the Tupelo Planning Committee. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones. And at this time, we'll ask you to please rise for the invocation given by Mark Williams and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Patty Thompson.
Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and what you've given to each and every one of us. Let us celebrate in this country what we have more in common as opposed to what divides us, so that we can come together as a nation to make decisions for the best interest of all. Let those on the Tupelo Planning Committee get advice, insight, and opinion from all parties, so our recommendations to City Council are right for the city today and in the future. We say these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may all be seated.
Thank you, Lindsay. Updated packet. Thank you.
The Tupelo Planning Committee is a volunteer group appointed by the mayor and approved by the City Council. We receive no compensation for this, as we do it as a community service. We spend a lot of time and our own funds studying and researching the applications and visiting the sites that are on our agenda each month. We ask you to remember that we do not take our positions on any application lightly. Our decisions are based on facts as they are presented and with regard to the regulations set in the Development Code. At this time, I will ask the staff and committee members to introduce themselves, starting with the staff, and please remember to speak into the microphone. Thank you.
Tanner Newman, Director of Development Services.
Jenny Safely, City Planner.
Mark Williams.
Bentley Nolan.
Pam Hadley, Chair.
Lindsay Leake.
Leslie Mart.
Patty Thompson.
Gus Hildenbrand.
Scott Davis.
Russ Wilson, Zoning Administrator.
Thank you all. At this time, we will, has everyone had a chance to review our minutes?
I have. I make a motion that we accept. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Could I get a second?
Second.
So it has been motioned by Leslie Martin, approved by Mark Williams, that we accept. Are there any questions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, vote. Raise your hand. No opposes. So we will, at this point, we will open our regular session. We will have the report on council actions.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
The City Council has approved the March minutes of the committee, and tomorrow night we'll take up the site plan and rezoning of Butler Park.
Okay, great, thank you.
May.
Oh, the May? Okay.
Yeah, the May, yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
The May minutes. That's right, my apologies.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can go into the old business as well.
Well, okay, I was gonna go ahead, but go ahead.
We previously had text amendments to the development plan on our agenda, and those were tabled. We've elected to separate, instead of having one immediate proposal of the text amendments, break those up into the sections of the development code. And as Planning Committee moves through them, work with City Council during their work sessions and have a final approval by City Council when those documents have been approved by the Planning Committee.
Thank you, Jenny. So we will move on to new business. Our first order of business is Flex 22-03, ST's Garage, located at 5315 Purnell Road. They request expansion, change, or a major repair of a non-conforming use in the MDR zoning district. Jenny, if you will, please present the staff analysis on this request.
Yes, of course. So SD's Garage is located just off Purnell Road, and Russ has already gotten this pulled up for us just so that you can see the business. This was annexed into the city and is considered a non-conforming use because vehicle service is not an allowed use in the zone. However, we do not discontinue non-conforming uses unless they've been abandoned or other violations of the code have happened there. And there's been a proposal to expand the garage, which requires a flexible use approval by the committee, meaning anything typically that the development code would not allow has to have a flexible use, and non-conforming uses are not allowed to expand by right. So what we have is the garage here, and what's being added is a maintenance garage in the back of the property. It would not be able to be seen from the street face. And what originally kind of got this all moving is that the garage, to meet required setbacks, there's had to be a lot line move, which the applicant has gone through. We don't anticipate any negative repercussions in allowing them to expand the non-conforming use by adding the garage. Our current code does require enclosure of all dumpsters, and the dumpster for the facility is located beyond this chain link fence that you can see from the side of the principal structure to the property line. And so what we have recommended is a part of the approval here is just to enclose the dumpster and also prevent the view into the back where there's storage for the facility by putting vinyl slats through the chain link. So that the recommendation of the planning department is to approve this with the contingency of those vinyl slats for buffering.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? If you will come to the podium and just state your name and anything that you want to add.
My name's Kevin Walls. I'm the owner of K&S Automotive Services, DBA Estes Garage. Purchased this in 2006 from James Estes. That building on the front part was built in 1978, and he added on in 1983. We've grown the business, and I know with y'all being the planning committee, thank you once for now for your service. But it's grown so much around us. In order for us to not stay status quo and go under as a business, we very much invested in our community. And we need this addition for room. It'll give us, 3 more bays to work out of. We currently have 10 lifts, 2 flat bays, and we're probably the largest, actually, aftermarket business. We just went through a 2-year ordeal. We are part of Napa because we are selected as a Napa Auto Care Center, which takes a lot of hard work. They don't just let anybody in. But I'm proud to say we just, after 2 years, are qualified as the first Napa Gold Center in North Mississippi. There's only 4 in the state, and all of them's in Jackson. What that's going to allow us to do for our neighbors and our community is we're going to be able to give you 3-year, 36-month warranty on your parts and labor on your repairs. Our guys are very well educated. I require 2 years of college. We require that you stay SC certified, and this will help us provide that service that's needed in our neighborhood. The revenue that's generated from this business is 4 times what it was when I bought it. And it's, in my opinion, and we get comments all the time, you can look at our reviews, we have to maintain a 4.0 at least or above to stay qualified as an Napa Auto Care Gold member. There's a lot of other things, but I'm just letting you know that the importance. We've got 6 families we're trying to feed out of this thing. We just hired another young man that's just finished up at ICC. He's very well educated in automotive technology. We stay on top of technology. We have to. We just can't go status quo with that. We have to be on top of our game. The only way we can provide the service that we need to do is if we add on. And we appreciate it. And Jenny made a point that slats, we did move that dumpster over there to get it out of the view behind the chain link fence, but I see your point. I've already made that order. So it's on the way. It should be here in 2 weeks, the slats. And we've done the property change too. So we own both properties, but they wanted it divided, so I just divided it all the way back to the back side of both properties.
I just want to say thank you for keeping it so nice and clean. If all of the garages in Tupelo kept their property half as clean and neat as you do, we would be in real good shape. So thank you.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. We try, I mean, we do all kinds of things, the environmental stuff, I mean, we stay on top. I was a district automotive manager for UPS before I moved back to Mississippi, and I learned a lot. I would have not made it through 08 and 09 if I had not had the business education that I received from them. So anyways, I appreciate, you know, if y'all could allow us to do this addition. I don't want to say nothing after.
Thank you, Mr. Walls.
Thank y'all.
So at this time, we'll open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone to speak for or against this request? Okay, seeing none, we will close the floor on public comment, and we will have a discussion by the planning committee. Are there any questions that any of you have or comments?
Listen, not much to discuss.
He's been compliant with the,
Unless somebody has something else, I'll
Yeah.
motion that we approve with the condition that he install the slats along the front portion of that fence.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion to approve by Scott with a second by Bentley. All in favor, with contingencies with the flats, so the slats, I'm sorry. So all in favor, raise your hand. You're right. Okay, no opposes. Thank you.
thank you. We appreciate you and taking care of your property.
Okay. Our second item on the agenda is MSP 22-02 Tulip Creek Apartments. They request major site plan approval for an apartment complex on Northeastern Boulevard in an MUE zoning district. So Jenny, if you will, please present the staff analysis on this request.
Of course. The developer is proposing building 6 two-story apartment buildings and a community building. It's about a 4.5 acre development on a 14.5 acre parcel. This is just the site plan, and that has been submitted. It requires approval by the planning committee, any major site plan. I have given standards here, but they have presented everything to us as requested. We are recommending approval of the site plan contingent upon a tree survey prior to their land development, just so that we can identify any, that's 8-inch hardwoods that are protected species by the development code. And other than that, we are looking at a 48-unit development. The parcel is a use by right for apartment developments, so we aren't looking at approval of the use, just of the site plan here. This is an MUE to make it use by right, and they have, I said 4.5 acre development in the 14.5 acre parcel. The surrounding portion of the development will be undeveloped and kept as a tree buffer. There are primarily industrial developments around the parcel, save to the north side, and we had 4 residential parcels that were within 500 feet.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant present? If you will, take the podium and state your name.
No, my name is Jay Bryan with McCarty Architects.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, thank y'all for hearing us tonight. As Jenny said, this is an apartment complex, 6 two-story apartment buildings. There'll be 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, total of 48 units split over those 6 buildings, and a shared community building for the development off of Easton. So just thank y'all for entertaining the application, and we are in the process of getting a tree survey.
Wonderful.
Selecting someone to do that survey. And then as soon as that's done, we'll get that submitted go from there.
Sounds great.
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we'll open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone to speak for or against this request? None noted. We will close the floor and we will open it for discussion by the planning committee.
I'd like to ask the question whether you have had anybody look at harvesting the trees on this site?
No, sir, we haven't at this point. I think the initial intent was just to leave that there for a landscape buffer, for, not only for the residents living in the apartments, but just from the surrounding area, just leave that buffer there, because there are some industrial businesses on the adjacent properties. Just thought it would be, provide a better buffer, a better feel for the residents of the apartments to have that wooded landscape from their homes.
Is this not wooded where you're going to put the apartments?
Yes, sir, so we're clearing approximately 4.5 acres of the 14.
Yeah, but you haven't had anybody, is there not some big pines on this property?
Yes, sir, there are some.
They
I will
be
be
harvested.
for the area that we are clearing.
Yes.
That would be considered, at this point, we have not. We
Well,
wanted to make sure we got through the planning committee approval before we
Yeah.
did that. But yeah, those trees could be harvested, yes, sir.
They will be? You think so?
Brendan,
They can be.
Well, with the scarcity of lumber and the prices now, it looks like it's asinine to bulldoze down tall pines and not harvest them. So,
We'll get prices from anybody that wants to harvest them.
Yeah.
We've not done
We
that.
need to speak into the microphone.
I'm sorry. And Brendan is the developer.
I'm developing the contractor, Brendan Jones. I would say we've done about 30 different developments. I've not done that in the past because it's not been economical, I think. But if somebody wanted to harvest the trees or take them for free, we'd give them away. If somebody said, we want those trees and we want to produce lumber, so somebody local would say, you can come have them.
yeah. Looks like to me that it'd be worthwhile to do that, but,
Oh, yeah, and I can say, we'll look around and see if there's somebody local that wants to do that. We'll probably be using a local site contractor, so you probably have good contacts for it. Send that to do the clearing.
okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Another thing too, there's going to be 100 cars probably leaving at 8 o'clock and at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. I think we need another traffic study on this site and with a third-party engineer doing it. I think that would make sure that we have it.
Well, we have a total of 110 parking spaces for the development. So, yeah, you have varying levels of cars leaving at different times of the day.
Well, you got 48 apartments, and you got, most of these will be both parents or both of the people will be working. So that's 96 cars that are going to be leaving, exiting that on a single driveway sometime during the morning. So,
Potentially.
and it's 7 through 9 will probably be that. So that means that there'll be a lot of cars coming, maybe a lot of problem getting out of that single drive onto Eastern Boulevard too.
Well, I mean, we're not opposed to providing a tree survey, traffic study. But this wasn't required to get provided at this point.
So, odd question, in looking at the topo on this particular property, there were 2 mounds or hills that are shown pretty short, pretty close together. Has there been any thought, and I don't know anything one way or the other, but it looked very odd to me that potentially they could be some form of burial mound because we are, Chickasaw Nation and everything. Has there been any investigation in that particular property, yay or nay, And if not, have you made recommendations to the developer on how to handle such a thing upon site work?
We have not at this point. Obviously, this just checks off council.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, so this property, the Chickasaw Nation has a very specific review area that they've mapped, that they require us, when there is commercial development in those areas, to report to them, and they do a site review. This is not in Chickasaw review area. However, it is, the developer can, since the Chickasaw Nation does not designate this as an area they speak to, does typically observe archaeological monitoring during development, which would catch anything that is exposed, that they would then report to the Chickasaw Nation for review.
And obviously, if anything is discovered, work would stop immediately until that could be investigated further.
You know, it just looked a little suspicious.
Well, there's, as you know, there's been other sites in town.
There have been.
Where it has been discovered, so.
There have been.
Any more questions, comments? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, at this time, we will close our discussion with the planning committee, and I will ask for a vote. Or, I'm sorry.
So Jenny, does this development require a double lane with a divided entrance, with landscaping at the entrance, coming out onto the road?
I am going to, if I may, defer to Russ on that one.
The code, let me check. I believe that it only requires that the entrance be a dual lane entrance and
A
exit
two-lane.
divided by a median.
It does require that it's divided by a median?
Yes, for the
Okay.
entrance or entrances. I don't think on this particular one, there's enough room to have two entrances or two exits, but it does require, and it does show on the plan, I believe, a dual lane entrance divided by a median.
For a short distance.
Yes.
Yeah, which is all
The code
that's required.
doesn't say how much of a distance that it should be, but
see
it
it.
does say that it,
You're right, I see that now, and I apologize. for
what section
over-
is it?
Well, it's already on their
drawing.
drawing, so as long as it's on their drawing, it's good.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And Gus, under the staff analysis, there is the requirement, and Jenny, am I seeing this right? There is the requirement, or we are requesting a traffic impact analysis. Is that correct?
I have not made that recommendation,
No.
but the planning committee
It's on the staff analysis?
may opt to require that. That is, that section that you're reading from there is from the development code, with the criteria for site plans for your review.
Oh, I got you.
And
Per section 12, 11, 14.
That's right, and J allows the planning committee to request a TIA.
Okay. So I would think just to keep some continuity, that we need to recommend that, like Gus had suggested, that we have a traffic impact analysis, and it be preferably by a independent third-party agency.
It's just good policy to have it done for any apartment complex.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you got a lot of cars coming out.
we're talking about, doing the different text amendments. To me, this needs to be part of multifamily apartments. I mean, when you're adding 100+ cars coming in and out of one entrance, I'm full support of that. That needs to become the rule rather than just an exception.
Can I ask the developer a question? Can you step back up to the microphone and please state your name and address so we get that on the record,
My home address?
whichever the business is?
I don't know. My business address is 1739 University Avenue, Oxford, Mississippi. My name is Britton Jones.
Great, thank you. So in reviewing the floor plans, it did appear that you have at least one, if not two, ADA apartments on the ground floor per building. Is that correct?
I don't know how many per building, that's probably, we try to spread them out, it's typically 5% of the units have to be ADA, and we try to spread them out amongst the buildings on the first floor.
Because that's part of the development and how the government is kind of partnering with you, right?
That's just HUD, I mean, not HUD, that's standard, what is the ADA regulations for any apartment complex?
Yes, and HUD requires a certain percentage, this is on for, it's 5%, so we're actually a little above that at the moment. So-
Okay, because like the second floor, obviously, you're not going to get somebody with a wheelchair heading upstairs, but, you know, they have a little more accessibility. But the ones on the bottom floor, I did note, really were compliant, which I totally appreciate. I think we need to have more of those kinds of things. But the thing that I noticed, and although you are in complete compliance, and Jenny confirmed that you are in compliance with the ADA parking, you know, for the 2%, and so you're in complete compliance. But it seems like if you are going to be pulling in more ADA people for those units, that you have appropriate have more realistic parking spaces, like maybe 2 per building.
I think we can definitely adjust that ADA parking.
It's only one.
To a more generous ratio.
It would be nice. It is not a code requirement, but it just would be nice that if you have 2 ADA apartments, that you would have 2 ADA parking spaces per building.
And we can definitely do that. So, I think the minimum parking space is 107, we're at 110. So we can do that without compromising other spaces as well.
Yeah, I think you really only need to add 2 or 3, so, you know, it just would be nice. I'm just saying that would be nice.
That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you hearing me.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. I guess in regards to the traffic study, I guess 2 questions. I don't disagree that it should be one of the standards asked for a new development, but it's currently not required in the major site plan development, so we did not provide it. So I'm not sure how we can be held to a standard that's not currently in place.
I'll speak on that. The development code does allow the planning committee the authority to request a traffic analysis on any major site plan. On that same token, it does not give the department staff the authority to require that on any initial submittal. So just to clarify on that. Now, I will also say that any decision made here tonight by the committee could be made contingent upon such a request being, based on you meeting that stipulation set out by the committee.
And obviously not opposed to doing it, obviously we're trying to stay on the schedule just like everyone else is. And just for clarification, when you all say a third party, typically a lot of times we'll have our civil engineer, SI, provide that traffic study. But if they are designing the documents as well, the development, do y'all consider that the third party? Or y'all asking for us to go find someone else?
This person actually works for you, is that what you're saying?
They
Well,
pay
they're
them.
outside consultants.
Yeah, but
They provide the civil engineering.
they're doing the engineering for the site, so they're not a third party. They are actually part of the site.
What if we use the word disinterested third party?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on who we needed to reach out for to study, get the study done. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, we can provide that, I think it's a good idea to have one, so we can provide that on the contingency, kind of like the tree survey going up, and we just provide it to y'all when we get it done. And I'm sure there's we'll probably get another local engineer besides the SI that can provide the traffic study.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion?
If not, I'll make the motion.
Yes, we'll
So
call for motion.
let's help me out here, make sure we get
Okay.
this right. So I make the motion that we approve the site development for this subdivision, or for this,
The site plan.
for the site plan, sorry, thank you for making sure I get this right. Contingent upon review and acceptance from the Development Department
Of the tree survey.
of the tree survey and the traffic impact analysis, as long as you guys are happy with that.
With the
So do I
traffic,
need to restate this
with
so
the
that I can
traffic
get this?
impact analysis done by a disinterested party.
Yes.
With the traffic analysis performed by an independent, disinterested
Third party.
third party. Does anybody want to repeat that back to make sure I got all that?
So we have a motion on the floor to approve the site plan contingent upon a tree survey and a traffic analysis done by a disinterested third party.
Do we need to make mention in there about the ADA, since it's just a request? The ADA parking spaces, I won't put that in there.
I second it.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Okay, so to repeat again, we have a motion on the floor to approve the site plan contingent upon a tree survey and a traffic study done by, traffic analysis done by disinterested third party. That was by Leslie Martin with a second by Gus Hildenbrand. All in favor, raise your hand. No opposes. Okay, thank you.
On the old business, do we have to, on that Flowerdale, do we have to pull that back up? Is there anything?
No, we don't have to at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Our next public meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 5th at 6:00 PM with a work session on Monday, June 27th at 5:15 PM. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a
Thank
motion
you.
by Patty, a second by Leslie. All in favor?
Yeah,
Unanimous.
look at what time it
Thank you.
is.
Yeah, wow. Record time.